So we are back to this one today, and I have decided I was going to leave it just with the little table protectors there. It's quite stable, so I could just leave it there, but I have decided to go with these. And I don't know, I'm going to go for it. I think sometimes if you don't go for it, you just don't know if it's going to work or not. So I've got two of these gold handles. So I have got the right type of screws so that it's just the right depth. And I am going to make a hole. So let's get going with this. Oh, this is a bit scary, but you know, if you don't try. I really shouldn't talk at the same time as I'm drilling. So I'm going to do a very small pilot hole first. So I'm using a very thin drill bit. And I have measured this, but I'm so fearful that I might have made the wrong measurements because I can't go back after that. No, that's fine. So I'm going to do two small pilot holes first. Then change my drill bit. Put the bigger one in. Okay, and then I'm going to go with the drill bit that matches the diameter of the screws. So back with the tip in the hole. Okay, that's one. I always get these little shady bits there, funny. And yeah, that's completely through. And I'm just going to check that the screw fits. Perfect. Okay. And just recheck. Yes, that was there. And then the last one. And then in they go underneath. And I'll go and get my screwdriver. And then on with this. I'll do this one first. This is a little bit fiddly, this bit. You've got to put one in there and then screw it in from the other side. I'm trying to do this at the same time as filming, it's not easy. There, there's that one. Yep, there it is. That is nice and tight. And I'm going to do the same there. And seeing it like this, I love it. So I'm glad I took the risk. And here she is, looking fabulous. She's had a total revamp. So if I turn it over, you can still see a little bit of the flowers that were there before. I think it's a good salvage of this. Well, it was yellow, as you remember from the previous video. But, I mean, honestly, it's better than nothing. I think I would have ended up just throwing this away anyway. The old piece as you saw it. And I think that's a shame. So I'd love to know your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Also, this is a project I was meaning to do for quite a while and I never got round to it. So I'm actually feeling very satisfied that I got round to it. It's done. And I love it. It's a little serving plate. I get a lot of requests for serving plates in resin. So it's an idea for you to do. And people just like to serve their little aperitifs on it or whatever. You can literally just put a couple of little plates of nuts and biscuits on your table when you invite friends around. So that's finally done for that. And I'm really happy with it. Good morning! So today I have a really fun project to show you. I get asked this a lot on how to do these frames for my Geode artwork. So these are on canvas, and the best way I like to do them is to create a floating frame. So this is a floating frame. It has a regular normal frame around, and then this little ledge here in which you slot your painting inside, and then with these spaces you can just spread them around equally and then drill up from the top. So remember I did this one a couple of vlogs ago. So what I'm going to do today is show you how I make one of these. So for this project you're going to need some wood glue, obviously, and then you're going to need wood. That will make sense, won't it? So I've got already some pre-cut wood, and a little video down here I'll show you how I cut that. I just used a simple mitre box. It's a plastic one. It's a good quality one. It's got a good blade on the saw, and I just cut my mitres using that. So because this is a square canvas frame, I needed just to do 4 equal sides for the frame. And then I've got my inner frame. For this example I don't need much. There'll only be about maybe 1/2 centimetre exposed, so I'm just using these square dowels. And I've got 4 of those. Got my spacers for the end, and then my biggest investment was one of these clamps. It's a square clamp. I find it really useful for making frames. So I treated myself. This is a Woolcraft one. No, I'm not sponsored by it, but I do like this one, or an equivalent if you see some in your DIY shop. That's a good investment for making frames. So first things first, I am going to just need to set this out like that and start connecting my clamp. I'm going to do this very loosely so that I can glue up. So I just put all 4 sides here like this all the way around, so very loosely, just so it's ready to tighten. And then I am actually going to first just make sure that I like the sides of this pine wood. So I use pine because I'm going to be painting this black. If you wanted a little bit better quality of wood, I would suggest getting something a little more pricier. But I'm going to do this backwards, so I want my frame that I want above to be on the top. So that's the nicer side. Just going to go around and check that there are no knots. Now here is the best of 2 evils. Over here it's very rough, there are quite a few knots, and here these knots are flat so I can paint them. So I'm going to use that for my top. And the reason I'm doing this is because I like to clamp all together. Let's get rid of this label. I like to insert my inside frame and then glue up all together and clamp it in one go. Let me get everything in place so you can see how it will look. And then all I need to do is get my glue out. And I've got this handy bottle with a little spout there, almost like one of those silicone mold tubey thingies. I'm just going to cut it off. And then we can start. Right, so I am going to glue up both sides, and I'm going to use the side of this as almost like a little palette knife, just to spread the glue around. Not too much, you want enough so that it will stick together, but you don't want so much that will just ooze out. And I'm going to do all 4 sides on both ends of all 4 of the frames. And then I'm going to start clamping together. So with this little jig, it's really clever. You just pull first, as tight as you can, and then lock it in. Make sure everything's in place. Let's do that once more. Pull that up, lock it in, and then just adjust. And I will be getting my square set in a minute just to check that I've got a nice square. And a good sign is when the glue oozes out. If the glue oozes out, you know that you have glued up properly. And then with my little triangular set screw, I'm just going to check that all 4 sides are completely square. That looks good, that looks good, and that looks good. So now I can start to glue up the inside bits, and all I'm going to do is glue on that side and on that side and put them in. So let's just make sure that they're the right ones. So I've got this one first down here, that one up there, and if I find that they are a little tight, I can go and get my sander and I can just sand them down. You don't want them so tight that it starts to pull apart the 2 frames. So this is probably about an 80 grit. Keep going until it fits, and that fits perfectly. As I said, I don't want it so tight that it starts to pull the 2 frames apart. So that fits in there, and I've got to do this before I glue up, otherwise if there's glue at the other end I won't be able to sand. And then there. And then once this is all glued in place, you can get a little bit of some tissue, some kitchen paper, get rid of all the excess glue, and then just tighten this up like this. So we just turn this little dial here, and this just squeezes it even more. Don't go crazy, because otherwise it will start to warp. You want just enough so that it holds into place, and then you want to leave this as long as you can, really. So if you've got the patience to wait overnight, if not a couple of hours, and the glue up will be done. And there you go, that's how you make the frame. This has had a couple of hours to dry now, so I'm going to just release this, and then all of these there. Really do love that tool. So there it is now, that's the back side, this is the front side. It needs a little sanding down just to flatten everything. So I've got a very fine sandpaper here, and I'm going to go all the way around. And then when I'm finished sanding, I am going to start painting. I'm going to put on a little bit of black acrylic just all the way around. Right, here it is, it's all dried. I've painted it both sides. And my little trick to connecting this to this is to create a little pilot hole first, and then pre-drill my screw just so it comes up a tiny bit from underneath. And of course you could do 4 sides. I'm just going to do 2 for the moment. Make sure that there is a little bit sticking out, and I'll show you why in a minute. I'm going to place this inside there with my spacers, and these are just regular shop spacers. I've got plastic ones here, and I'm going to do equally on all 4 sides. Should be about right. Yep. And then what this will do, and once they're all properly done, I am going to just dig those 2 into those screws so that when I turn it around they don't move, and I can screw right in. And then I can remove the spacers and check the back, and then I can screw in the other two. And then of course I will be adding a little hook tooth to hang on the wall over there. And that's how I create my floating frames for my geode art paintings on canvas. So I'm a little lazy and I like to use my laser printer even just to cut out circles. This is felt and I'm going to put them underneath the coasters that we made and the little candle holder as well. So that's in place and I'm going to get the machine going. So first I need to measure everything so I can input it in the computer. So that is 6.5 by 10 centimeters. And I know I'm a little lazy, I could just cut this by hand. They're only squares, but if I've got it, why don't I use it? So I'm gonna cut another 2 for these 4 coasters. I have this round one, perfect size for the little candle tea light holder, and then I've cut a little rectangular one just to go underneath. So I've got these last ones to stick down the felts at the back of these coasters that I did. I don't know what's happening with my throat today. I hope I'm not coming down with another cold. But the weather has been absolutely crap around here. Excuse my French. It's really been horrid. It's not stopped raining. It's damp. Then it got really muggy and warm and hot and sticky last night. And then in the morning it's just damp and yucky. It's not even sunny, so we can't even sit out in the garden. It's so annoying. So a little bit of PVA glue I find is the best way to stick this on. I did try some spray glue, but it's not sticky enough. So I'm just going to get rid of any excess around the edges. And then I'm going to put it upwards and just lean it down like that. And I'll do the same for the other 3. And here they are all done. I do like that they just kind of protect the table a little bit, and also when they're stacked one on top of the other they protect the table, so that's good. So I've done the same for all of these. And that one, I've got that one, that's the little spare one we had with the leftover resin. Tea candle holder, little tea lighter. This one, it's got a little one too. This one I ran out of white, so I put a green one. I think it looks great. So this is now a really cute matching set. I love that one, it is really pretty. And this one can basically almost go with any of them. And just swap that around. So many fun things you can do with resin. It's really a lot of fun. Good morning. Project today is I need to laser print all these bags, and I'm using my X-Tool S1, and I'm trying to work out a way of doing more than one at once. So I am going to attempt to overlap them. And I'm hoping this will work. This will save me a lot of time. It just means that in my file I will have to turn the image that way. So I want my little logo handmade up there at the, well, about there. Somewhere where you can see it. So let's see how many I can get in all at once. I'm not even sure if this is going to work because Because I've got this in the middle. So is this crazy if I do it this way? I can't do it that way. And if I do it this way, it means I can only get 2 in. Well, 2 is better than none, I suppose. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll have to remember the numbers. If I put this one at number 1 over here, and then the next one at number 4, I'm hoping it will reach that end there. Right, I'm going to clip them all in so they don't move. So number 1 here, and then I'll need to bring that in to measure the distance. Right, I'm going to frame this bit here, make sure it's where I want it. Let's do that once more. Yeah, that looks just about right. That looks pretty good to me. All right, I think we're ready to go. I'm going to just do one at a time just to see if it works. Right, do I like? It's not bad. So I will do the other one now. For some reason the bag wasn't straight. It doesn't look too bad. And I might increase the power a bit. Compare the two. I think they're almost the same. So, but I'm pleased with that. I think it's nice just to have a little bit of personalized bags. There, that is the last one. I have done all of these. I think they've come out really cute. I really do like personalizing my gift bags. So that's for the summer fair that's coming up at the school. I have a stand with a friend of mine whose daughter makes very lovely homemade candles. We're sharing a stand, so I have some company and we can chat, and hopefully I get to sell some of my resin art.